No other field of engineering, the dignitaries on the dais should excuse me for saying so, no other field of engineering is evolving like this. Because the complete evolution, I should say, you were having the electrons, protons, they remain the same. The charge carriers remain the same. But you have the complete innovations. When we had vacuum tube, when we went for BJT, when we went for field effect transistor, when we now go for the recent FET devices, the single electron transistors and the nano devices, what we are imagining to get right from 2000 and odd years onwards, we are making that possible. Having found the semiconductor in 1948 and getting that into a chip in the year 1958, and from there on we developed. And we developed first for the analog, for the mixed signal, for the digital, for the complete signal back, and how to have it used for the real-time applications. We started with the micron devices. Now we are working with the nanometer devices. The FPGAs, what you are working in the lab, they are actually fabricated using 15 nanometer or 22 nanometer technology at the most. You have such a set of FPGAs now. The IC chips, the minimum size, what you can visualize, what you can draw with are of 50 nanometer device size. And those device sizes are making what I talked of the energy conservation possible in one way. But whenever I talk of device sizing, scaling down, I talk of more functionality also inside. When I talk of more functionality, naturally man is very greedy. Man is very greedy, I should say. So we have got to have more functionality and increased functionality the next day. If I have one mobile, the next month if I get another mobile in the market, I would want to buy it too and make use of the additional features. Whether I use it fully or not, that doesn't matter. But all the same, we need to have highest functionality and the portable, and it has to be of very small size and it has to be very slim, pocketed very easily, and all that we need. For all these things to happen, only you are making it happening. It is not like having the breadboard, having some 10 or 15 components plugged into that, making the interconnections, testing and all. It is going to be billions of transistors what you will have, and those billions of transistors are to be interconnected, tested. Previously, your electronics and communication engineering was only for designing and testing. Nowadays, it is for manufacturability, how we can design it and how we can manufacture that, how we can test it afterwards. We won't know because it is a billion transistor chip. What you have, the billion transistor chip, what are going to be the nodes where you want to test? You should have a way and means. So the design for functionality, the design for testability, design for manufacturability, they are there with you. And you are developing, the Indian engineers, you know Magma tool, what the Synopsys recently bought it out. He was a product from Anna University and he went for devising the Magma tool, and it was from 2005 onwards, it was ruling very high in the electronic design automation arena, and now the Synopsys has taken it over, and it was only one Indian from Madhavan. He actually created that sort of a tool. Those tool development engineers are there who are your counterparts. Your own engineering, your own electronics people have devised such electronic design automation tools. So you have got to, even while working for this symposium, as Principal Sir rightly pointed out, you have got to conceptualize ideas, have them practically implemented, have it made as a prototype, and all the while see to it that it helps the human being in some way or the other, right from what we said as healthcare, whether it is for energy conservation or any sort of applications, whether it is going to be useful. Conceptualize with that in your mind, and after producing that, don't leave it undocumented. The main problem with our engineers, with our Indian engineers, are their poor documentation ability and poor documentation track record. We invent so many things, even right from Ramanujam, the Kanida Mede, He hasn't documented everything. He documented only the final sutras, what he came out with. He didn't, yeah. Yeah. He never went for good documentation, but if he had started documenting, it would have been amount to mounts and mounts of them, but he went only for that. But I would advise our young engineers, our co-engineers to go for proper documentation and not straight away go for publishing, patent them. Because of patent you get prospered and then you go for publishing. That is a very important message what I would want to tell you, the engineers, the young engineers. Previously we will say publish and perish. Nowadays it is not that. You patent, try to patent and prosper. It is not perishing, it is prospering. And I should at this point of time tell something, an information which is interesting, which would be interesting to you. Do you know which particular patent of a man is fetching him the maximum amount of royalty, the income what he gets out of that? The can opener. You go for taking some packed container you have and you go for drinking, and you have all sorts of preserved juices in that, and you go for having such drinks, and that drink when you start, you just plug the round thing out and put it against the hinge and you do it, you have it open, you drink it and go off. That is actually fetching him. Every time one can is open, 10 NP or 15 NP is going to his pocket. That is the highest one. So what is the patent there? It is a very small idea it may seem. In your electronics designs, you may come upon a very small idea, but that idea may be actually in the effect, may be producing a very large output, and that may actually amount to a great thing, very great things, and you won't know. That is why I said conceptualize, think of that, discuss with your peers, and you have such a great set of faculty here as I could see, and this sort of an atmosphere should bring you, the colleges can give you the best atmosphere in terms of the infrastructure, the faculty, the environment, the head and the management. And given with all these things in order, you have got to continuously create such a great atmosphere where you are learning, and you have got to equivalently give back to the college the output from you. And it is a mutual. Whenever the students are doing so good, whenever the students are producing so many good papers, publications and patents, the managements would be encouraged and they would go for having more input given to the development of the institution, and you, the students, will be reaping the benefits. When you go out of the institution, you should always have in mind that you are a product of such a college, and the college is actually running for so well for so many tens of years. It is a credit to you. When I say that I am from that particular college and I am flourishing like this, the college, what actually taught me, what actually made me an engineer, is actually taking the pride, and I have got to give something back to the society only through that college. Have that strong sense of ownership for your institution. But unless you prove yourself very good as a student, very good as a son or as a daughter, we cannot achieve this. You have got to be good in everything. Just think straightforward with the person, with the ideas, with the directions as given by Vivekananda, as tells you, with him at the helm of affairs in the institution, it cannot go any other way. And after even you go out, when you look back to the college as an alumni, you come here and take ownership of one or two students, one or two poor students, and give them the education. You are to become such a big shot when you go in the future. You have got to seek. The world is there out and the world is expecting you very badly. I should tell you some other information also in this line. The world is expecting you very badly, and you are going to be the one who is going to be taking care of those requirements. And what those requirements are, I will say. In the process of your design, I said you have got to generate patents, and another thing would be the intellectual property rights. If not for patent, you go for intellectual property rights. You claim ownership for what you are doing. That only we can make it happen. You have all the electronic design automation tools. As I got the information from Professor Vijay, you have the tools here. What any good engineering college can have, you have it here. And you have the health, energy, time, and the environment. Go for working, go for creating the intellectual properties and make use of all these for generating patents and IPs. That is where our Indians can flourish. We cannot in India have many electronics foundries, IC chip foundries, because it would need some lakhs of crores of rupees for getting the latest foundry. And once we go for the next scaling down of ICs, we cannot actually completely modify all the infrastructure what we might have generated with so much of a cost and then go for investing. Our country cannot afford to do that. But it doesn't mean that we are not helping in the process of IC designs. Other than the foundry and the manufacturing, all the other things entirely we are doing. We are there in the design team, we are there in the testing team, we are there in the design for manufacturing team. What else do we need? And you are able to do that. And we have realized the governments, whichever government is going to come next, whatever be the government now, and they have realized that in 2000 they had gone for changing. In 1998, 99 and all, you had so many IT companies developing, and those IT companies actually we thought they are giving so much of money to the country. It is not actually so. When we get so many software projects to India, I should also point out that we are buying equivalent number of computers. We are actually spending so much. We are the maximum expense, the maximum cost what the country pays is in terms of the import of oil. The next major things as of now is the electronics. What we do in terms of importing the electronics components to have everything made for the huge population what we have to meet the requirements of every one of us, we are actually importing so much. And if we leave the same thing to go by 2020, we would be even overpowering the cost of oil. We would be spending so much in terms of the import costs that our country cannot stand at all. That is why when the government named the Department of Electronics, it was then the Department of Electronics, it renamed that as Department of Information Technology. Now, having realized in what direction we are going, they have renamed that as Department of Electronics and Information Technology, very rightly named DEITI. It is called DEITI. It is the DEITI what actually can make the country survive in 2020. In relation with that, the government is having a national electronics mission. It is generating a national policy on electronics. The Department of Electronics and Information Technology is taking care for that. And the electronic system design and manufacturing industry is growing at a rate of 9.9%. From 2011 onwards. Even by 2015, if we look at the cost, what we would be making felt would be around $94.2 billion by 2015. And for so much of things to happen, what about the manpower what we need? In India, the manpower requirement in 2010 was 44 lakhs. We keep saying that we don't have job. It is not so. We have got to be making ourselves job ready, industry ready. That is what we need. It doesn't mean that you have got to learn some Java and with the knowledge of what you have acquired by way of 10th standard or 11th standard, if you have practiced some Java, you could go to some job IT company and you will be earning 20k or 30k per month. It is not that. We would want right from the design, right from the very small power supplies what you need, right from the set-top boxes what you need, right from other wireless gadgets whatever you need. For everything you need to have your electronics manufacturing done, and such a set of manpower requirement was 44 lakhs in 2010, and by 2020 it is going to be the desperate 2.78 crores. That's what we would need by 2020 just in India. This is the data from a report what is submitted to the DAITY. So realize where you are standing. You are coming out with your graduation, with your degree by 2014 or at the most 2015, and 3-4 years from then onwards you are seeing such a huge need for manpower. So you make yourself industry ready. And in this direction, the same report tells something else also. This also you should know. In US, we have 460 colleges, and with that, they are having 420 millions of publications. 460 colleges, 420 millions of publications, and they have 4.3 lakhs of patents registered and acquired. Whereas in China, against 460 of US, it is 550 in China, and they have publication of only 100, but the patent is more than what they generate in US. What is the difference? The number of colleges is slightly more and the publication is desperately less, but the patenting is more than that. That is why when you open any electronic gadgets, right from your anything, any electronic equipment, you open even this mobile, even this mic, cordless mic, I would open and see some chip fabricated in any part of China or Korea at the most. Korea is not even in the shape of, in the area of space compared to Bangalore. It's less than that, I hope. But still, they are able to make their presence felt in so many ways, in so many different applications. They are actually grabbing the market like anything. They steal the ideas from everywhere. From India, we may be producing some ideas, we put that in a conference, and they go for getting all these ideas grabbed from the conferences also, and they go for fabricating, testing it, and they go for making it a patent for them. And this is how they work. That is how they grab the market of what is our due. And we are being the silent spectators. They grab the land, they grab our ideas, they grab everything. But we shouldn't be so. What is your duty then? Go for patenting. Go for having your designs done. Reach it out to the world in the manner in which it should be done and claim it. That's what we need. And in comparison, our data from India is we have around 3,000 colleges, and we have the same number of 100 publications like how China has, and the number of patents against 4.32 of US, 4.36 of China, we have 15,700 from India. For the huge comparable population what we have, we are not even 20%. We are much less than that. This is the message what I would want you to carry when you go out of the symposium activities. The students from GTech, the students from any other college, you please have this in mind. This is the message. So you go for realizing what is awaiting you in the outside world. Go for your ideas, your implementations, your realizations are not limited. They are limited only by your own limitations. Just shed off any limitations whatever you may have. This sort of symposium, this sort of presentations where you show off your work will help you in shedding off such inhibitions. Whatever be the idea which you have now claimed, if it is not a good one, you are going to be getting the good comments from the faculty who are going to be chairing the sessions. This is what it is. You have an idea, present it. If it is good, you are going to get appreciated and you are going to be reaping the benefits. Yes, they are going to be advising you to go in the right direction and you are going to be walking in the correct direction from thenceforth. That's what we need. So understand, study well, and maintain the decorum of being a student, decorum of being a son or a daughter, decorum of being a good human being, a good citizen of the country, work in a very carefully nurtured environment which would bring you to the limelight very well in the future. All the best to all of you. Have your feats outnumbering your own achievements. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank our management for giving us an opportunity and a support to conduct this symposium in a good manner. She is a role model, a philosopher, a mentor, and the words are infinite to frame her. She came a long way, travels from Chennai to Vellore, gave the keynote address. I thank Dr. V.S. Kanjana Bhaskaran for her valuable time and participation. Thank you, ma'am. He is the primary, the Navy living with us, motivating everyone by his talks, guiding us towards the target. I convey my sincere thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. B.V. Ramakrishna, for his guidance in all the aspects of this technical carnival. Thank you, sir. I express my heartfelt thanks to our COO for his support in terms of all the administrative activities, sanctioning everything what we need as well as your tea, snacks and good meals to everyone. He gave us endless support. Thank you, sir. I thank the HODs and faculties of various departments for their valuable time spent with us. My sincere thanks to all the administrative staff, press and media, transport. Without them, this function won't get fulfilled in all aspects. I am wondering the way all the committees, coordinators and student members involving in all making of this symposium in a pleasant and grand manner. I thank the participants who have arrived from various parts of Tamil Nadu and give their technical views and participation in the events. Without them, this is not a national event. Last but not least, I convey my felicitation to each individual who involved directly or indirectly to finish this as a grand success. Thank you one and all. Thank you. That's what we do in
I request all the students to please be seated for 5 minutes. Damsi, hall number 302, second floor. Fan events, hall number 303 and 304, second floor.
Thin film conducting layers, one should be positive and another should be negative. Please kept in the minute gap to create the electric field just like a battery. Then inserting the 3 cells, one is piezoelectric cell, photovoltaic cells and then thermovoltaic cells inside the nanoliths. Next, which mechanisms are used in this nanoliths? Already I said 3 cells are used here. One is thermovoltaic cell, photovoltaic cell, piezoelectric cells. First, thermovoltaic cells is nothing but converts the solar energy from the sun into electricity, and photovoltaic cells which converts the light from the sun. It is in this light is invisible. It also converts the thermal energy. And next slide. Next, piezoelectric cells which converts the kinetic energy from the wind into electricity by the means of principal piezoelectric effect. Already we know the piezoelectric effect is nothing but the crystals are placed in between when the mechanical forces are applied to produce the electric field. Next. This is the cross-sectional view of the leaf. Already I said 2 thin conducting layers. One should be set in above and another should be set in below. In between gaps, 3 cells are placed here. One is thermovoltaic cells, photovoltaic cells and then piezoelectric cells. This is an overview of nanoliths. This is an artificial tree. In this nanoliths, based upon the biomimicry principle. Biomimicry principle is nothing but attaching the nanoliths into the artificial tree. In this place, thermovoltaic cells are collect the solar heat from the sun, and then photovoltaic cells which collect the solar energy from the sun. Piezoelectric cells which also converts into the electricity. Then this is the wind oscillates branches and twigs. Here inverter is placed inside center of the artificial tree, which collects electricity from the wind, from the solar also, then which converts into any type of electricity. This is the air reaction for nanoliths. If the wind force is more means we get electricity is more, but if the wind is movement is slow means electricity is low. Next slide we discuss with my friend.
Good morning to one and all. Now I discuss about the topic is nanosolar cells. When a quantum dots absorb the photons from the suns, it gives the two holes and two electrons to produce the electric current. It will store it in the storage battery. Next slide. The perfect trees for nanoliths, there are two types, broadleaf trees and solar photonic trees. In addition to providing the shape and shade and beauty, the solar photonic trees is provided between 2,500 and 7,000 crores per year. The solar photonic the trees are good mountainous region and hillsides. This provide the good sound absorber in the solar photonic trees. Next slide. There are some examples for solar photonic trees as the different trees in the solar photonic trees. Next slide. How much electricity our trees generating? The one nanolith can produce the power can be calculated by current and voltage. The current is 100 milliamps and voltage is 1.25 volts. To produce the power is 0.125 watts and one tree produce the power is 4,500 watts. Next, usage of inverter in nanoliths. The inverter is a DC to AC converter in nanolith technology. It is fixed in the trunk pot of the sea. There are three cells, thermovoltaic cells and photovoltaic cells, and piezoelectric cell are internally connected to the inverter. And next is the total output AC voltage is taken from the inverter. We get 8 kW power access from the inverter. The energy trees range from 2 to 12 kW power in power outputs. Next slide. This diagram is the inverter is fixed in the trunk part of the nanolith tree. And next slides. Now applications is deserts, parks and golf courses and recreation grounds and office car parks and the charging mobile phones. The deserts which is used in the trees is to get the seawater from fresh water in desalination, and parks which is used in this ground maintenance vehicle is such as hand tools and the crane steamers, and golf courses which is used in the charging the mobile phones. Next slide. I concluded topic is it will reduce the use of fossil fuels, which is the main cause of the world's largest problem in global warming. And the same technology in the desalinate the seawater and filter and carbon dioxide out of the air and make hydrofuel and recharge the electric cars, provide wireless communication, and they try to solve a future upcoming problem to secretary, and also be product to the environment without any pollutions. And thank you. Any queries?
So what you are discussing, what about the weather effect? Climate effect, will your plant will be affected with any climatic effect?
No sir, by the means of weather effect, if the more wind is generated means it also produces electricity sir,
So
by the means of kinetic energy, in which piezovoltaic cells, by the means of piezovoltaic cells sir.
Can you tell me what is the principle of piezoelectric cell?
Sir,
Piezoelectric
piezoelectric effect principle sir.
What is the principle? What is the principle says?
When two conducting crystals are placed in between, the mechanical forces are applied which produce electric charges sir.
So how you are going to relate this with your project?
Sir, if the wind is applied into the nanoleaves, sir, if the wind is applied nanoleaves, it
Two layers are separated with some liquids. So we
yes.
call it as some layer form of water.
Yes, sir.
So how you going to have so because of this it doesn't have any friction. So how when the wind affect over the leaf, how it is going to create a
No, sir. The two conducting in between the two conducting layers, 3 cells are only present here, sir.
3 cells?
Yes, sir. Physivoltaic cells, thermovoltaic cells, and then photovoltaic cells, sir.
What is the maximum voltage you can produce for your tree?
Per tree is 12,500 watts, sir. But one leaf can produce 0.25 volts. 0.25 volts, sir.
Why? What about the loss?
Sir, only one tree's cost is 17 rupees only, sir. Stands.
And one tree is
So what is the disadvantage? Why it is not evaluated yet?
What, sir?
What is the disadvantage? Why it is not evaluated?
Sir,
the nanoleaf cells.
cost size, sir.
Of
So
course.
that's only, but in future upcoming problems it can't solve anything, sir.
So will it be applicable for all the leaves?
What, sir?
Will it be applicable for all the leaves?
Yes, sir.
All the leaves?
But broad leaves, it can produce more electricity, sir. That's why we are using polar botanic trees and also.
Can you compare with this with solar cells?
What, sir?
Solar cells.
Solar cells. Yes, sir. Here
you
using
compare?
nano solar cells, sir. But solar panels only converts solar energy into 90 kilowatts, but nano leaves can convert 130 kilowatts per year, sir.
So the loss is reduced or increased?
What, sir?
Loss.
Loss is minimum, sir.
Any queries?
Any queries from audience? Yes. Yes. The leaves act as which absorbs the solar energy from the sun only. No, it's semiconductor by the means of the layers makes up as the semiconductor. It's only absorbs the energy. It's an artificial tree, no. It's an artificial tree. Only making la mattum. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes. பண்ணும். ஏன்னா வந்து அதுல கைனடிக் எனர்ஜி இப்போ வெதர் டைம்ஸ்ல எல்லாம் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா கைனடிக் எனர்ஜி இருக்கு. கைனடிக் எனர்ஜி வந்து அப்சர்வ் பண்ணும்ல, அது மூலமா பண்ணிக்கலாமே. 3 layers. Okay. Future applications. Future பண்ண முடியும், அப்ளிகபிள் தான், பட் ஆனா இப்போ இல்லன்னு சொல்றாங்க. ஃபியூச்சர்ல
Pensive. Now I call upon Sharmila and Jayashree from Arunai College to present their paper presentation.
Good afternoon to all and all present here. Myself Sharmila and this is my friend Jayashree. We are coming from Arunai College of Engineering. We are going to present a paper on cryonics based on nanotechnology. The agenda: introduction of nanotechnology and cryonics, nanorobots and design consideration of nanorobots, origin of cryonics and storage vessels, future enhancement, advantages and disadvantages, then conclusion and so on. Next slide, introduction. Let me see about nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is shortened to nanotech, which deals with the study of controlling the matters on the organic and the molecular structure, and it deals with the study and the use of structure between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometers, and it's from the Greek word called nanos, means the nanos means the tiny particles. It ranges from 10 to the power of -9, and it has many applications. One of the most application is cryonics. Let me see about the cryonics. The cryonics is nothing but, it's a Greek word, it's a root word means that cold. It's a science and a practice which makes use the preserving the dead bodies after a legal death and for the future reviving. Nanorobots. Nanorobots refers the nanotechnology. Engineering deals with the designing of the machines in the size of nanometers, and the machines named as nanobots, nanoids, nanites and nanomites. This is a blood swimming robot. The working is it's consisted of the micro camera and payload and the capacitor and the swimming tails. The micro camera is used to detect the dead cells, and the payload is used to observe the dead cell and smash it and throw it out, and the capacitor is used to charge and works and make helps to works the robot, and swimming tail is to swim over the blood vessels. Next slide. And this is the process. This is the process how the payload smash the dead cells. Next. A design consideration, size and the memory. Size, already I said it's a nanometers, 10 to the power of -9. Its size is depend on the blood vessels that it can navigate, and the minimum size is used to get efficient communication and controlling problems. And memory, it works on the quantum mechanical principle, includes a main maximum recordings and the reading speeds. Information exchanging rate is 20 bits per second. Next slide. Next slide. And power and the communication. Power, the metabolizing local glucose and oxygen power consumes, and it's clinically environmental requires the externally acoustic energy supply. And communication, nanorobots is efficiently communicate with external controllers. It's based on the broadcast type acoustic signaling. Next. Originated in the year 1962 by the Professor Dr. Robert, and then it's based on the prospects of the immortality. First is you get the idea from the story Niels or Johns. From this idea, he concluded that legally dead bodies can be preserved, and the brain can be laterly the brain can be repaired, and it can be furtherly implemented as animated machines. He is the first man to preserve by the cryonics in the year 1967. Still now he is preserved, and in future 2010 there may be 200 peoples may be preserved by this cryopreservation. And this is the vessels where we can preserve the legally dead bodies. This vessel consists of liquid nitrogen, which used to preserve the dead bodies, and this is a vertical section of this. And patient declared legally dead. It means it's not a sudden process, it's a gradual process. The brain still works, the heart beats alone stop the functioning. It's called a legally dead. Next. We can, by the word of cryonics, we can cheat the death and we can raise our lifetime. Next. I welcome you all to come into our cryonics world. We will go to enjoy the cryonics world with an deathless life. Remaining things will be continued by my friend. Myself Jayashree. Then the technology plays a vital role in every aspect of life. Then the cryonics is nothing but it's basically freezing the dead body in a nitrogen liquid. Then for a future purpose we have to preserve that in a liquid nitrogen. Then next. Then the reanimation is possible. I would like to say the vitrification process. It is very important for cryonics. Vitrification is nothing but it is transformation of substance into the glass. Then or a glassy substance, especially for through the hot fusion. Then basically this process is done by the cryopogonate. It is used for remove the ice crystal in the vessels. Then basically the nanotechnology, why we are using the nanotechnology here means the atoms is such a minute particle. So the nanotechnology only is used to applicable for the cryonics. Then the vitrification process, first impress the patient into the eye. Then next step is minimize the blood coagulation process. Then third one is move to the patient to a suitable location. Then final step is remove the or wash out the blood in the body, and the final step is we have to preserve the body into the operating of the vitrification process. Next. The vitrification, we have to do the vitrification process means sure. Obviously we go the remove the formation of the ice. Formation of the ice particle in the vessels. Then monitor the brain temperature. Then check for the cracking function for the brain. Then finally we have to fix the 110 degrees Celsius to preserve the body in that container. Then the cryopogonate, it is anti-freezing component or substance. It is the combination of a glycerol, ethylene glycol and so on, the propylene glycol. In that range we have to fix and preserve the body. Then it is the main important process for vitrification. The injecting, first step is we have to inject the active. Okay. Firstly we have to use the anti-freezing component and stabilizer in the body, and with the hot lamps system we have to attach the externally. Then we have to fix a 190 degrees Celsius. Then next we have to inject the nanorobot in the vein area for leg region. Then the communication process of the nanodisc has to be completed. Then it will be smashing the damaged cells in that body. Then finally the nanodisc can be done all this work. Then we have to eliminate the anti-freezing component and the cell stabilizer is taken out. Then finally we get now the patient can be raised to the bed. Then the storage vessels for the vitrification process. Then the dead body can be in our storage vessels. We are using the aluminum container. The whole body we have to preserve in the aluminum container. We have to maintain a 196 degrees Celsius used here. Then why nanotechnology is used for cryonics means basically the cell is deals with the cryonics. The cell in order to a nanometers, so we have to use the nanotechnology. But current application form is the biotechnology. The nanotechnology is only eligible for the cryonics because I am already told the atoms is such a minute particle. So the nanotechnology only it deals with the process. That's why we are using a nanotechnology here. Then the future enhancement, then the cryonics, we have to use the cryonics. It is well supported for the so many biomedical applications. So it is the very useful process for our future. In the nanotechnology paper is currently in the research area. The next. This is the financial structure for the Cryonic Institute. Then everything has some advantage and disadvantages, they only depend on us. But the main advantage we can implement the cryonic, surely we get back the life. This is the main advantage. As well as we got the population is also uncontrolled. But we have to focus in only the advantage. Then I could conclude my topic. The cryonics is a rational process. It's not a revision miracle. Then the cryonics is well supported for all biomedical applications.
applications, we have to use that for future. Then I could like to add one thing here. Life death ends in life end, but the life is after death continue. So thank you so much for everybody.
Good. So it's using battery power supply. What about the lifetime? And you also mentioned O2 powered nanorobots, oxygen powered nanorobots.
The nanorobot is only eligible.
You mentioned
we don't
oxygen
idea for
powered
any other types of
nanorobots.
nanorobot. The oxygen is provided for the CPO, the process. That's why we are using that nanorobot here.
Okay.
Support. It's provided the oxygen through the pulmonary system.
So it is operating based on oxygen.
What's can't get you?
That nanorobot is operating based on O2. Oxygen.
Yeah, the oxygen, we have to give the oxygen, that's why we are using our CPS here.
So as you mentioned on diagrams, it says that the person is dead, but his brain is still alive. There is a diagram we shown that the person is still dead, but his brain is still alive. Still alive. What about the heart function? It is stopped. So there is a medical function is there, because every pulse started at SL node, sinoatrial node. It is located at the heart. So when the heart or
Not like that, so
heart
the
is switching
heart
on,
and the brain also
automatically
preserve
create
it.
a pulse, and that pulse is given to brain. So it is like a clock pulse. Whether the brain is getting the pulse or not, the brain cannot function.
Yeah, surely we will get. We have to preserve in storage vessels. We have to give artificially to all those kinds.
No, I'm not mentioning that. Since the heart is gone, it will no longer produce the pulse. So that is very important for the brain.
The pulse is externally. We have to feed in the storage vessels. So, yeah.
See, in human body, which one is very complicated one? It's human body.
Yeah, it's also complicated one, but if we have to try, means surely we have to implement that one. We have to try, but still now it's a researching area.
Any questions?
So you told cryonics, but what does that mean really? Basically the cryonics is freezing clinically the dead body in a liquid nitrogen. It works for future process.
It's called cryonics.
Yeah.
These nanobots are existing at present.
Sorry, we can't get you.
These nanobots are exist at present. Where we are using it? Nanobots.
Still is in research area in USA. That's why I'm told you the Cryonic Institute is placed is in USA. Still is in a research process is going on the way. So please believe us, okay?
See, we didn't say we don't believe you. We just asked about nanorobots.
Okay.
We didn't
Sorry.
come along applications. Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Correlate, MMS and database we are using here. This is a schematic diagram of AMTS. Mainly we can divide this schematic diagram into two, one into inside the car and outside the car. The components using inside the car and the things that gonna happen outside the car we're gonna see next. Next, please. Car monitoring. Let him do.
This technique, as automatic monitoring and tracking system, will power up only when the owner locks the car. For this monitoring purpose, we use several different sensors. We use magnetic and infrared sensor. Next. Magnetic sensor consists of two magnetic bars which is coupled between the doors. Infrared sensor we use for this. The wire is connected between microcontroller when the door is illegally opened, there is a change in the voltage level due to magnetic field variations which trigger up the alarm system. Of course, infrared is used because of its high sensitivity to light and also for its low cost. This change in intensity produces some triggering signal which in turn triggers on the entire system, which confirms the person entered into the car illegally. Next. This is the basic diagram for this system. Infrared sensor and magnetic sensor are connected to the PAC camera.
Both the infrared and the magnetic sensor will combinedly initiate the programmable IC. Here the microcontroller 18F series we are using here. Because of its low power, hence it is a low power device, and just a CMOS battery is enough to power up these three, and this PIC is integrated to the GSM module, which basically it has a camera. We are having a device GSM module with power up with camera. Next one. The camera is the GSM kit is placed in right corner, exact opposite to the driver of the GSM module. The camera records the picture of the intruder. Generally the camera picture captured is in the form of JPG format. A GSM module. After getting the picture, we are transmitting the picture over the GPRS modem. GPRS Geo Packet Radio System, which is used to connect WAP, this wireless application protocol. It is used to transmit SMS, MMS as well as email. Since we are using GPRS, the cost we are having is per megabyte traffic. So billing is per data used. So MMS can be sent over using GSM provider like Aircel, Vodafone, Docomo. When the intruder, whenever the system confirms some intruder is entering inside the car, this alarming system will automatically send a SMS to the user, where he needs to confirm the email by calling the hand phone. After receiving the confirmation theft of event by the user, the MMS picture captured by the camera will be sent over the MMS sent to the control center through GPRS. The control center will be having the MMS modem, which will receive that picture of the intruder. But that MMS modem will be connected to the PC using RS-232 cables. GPS receiver.
The transmitted MMS signal received by the GPS receiver, which is used to locate the place where the car is presently now. GPS model is generally used in three modes: hot start, warm start and cold start. Depending upon the start modes, we used to fix the first time. Suppose we use cold start, it takes lots of times to fix the first. Satellites orbits information, which allows the GPS receiver to predict the satellites. GPS receiver is connected to the PAC microcontroller, which will send a text message to owner of the car as well as police. In the control center, exact location of the car is traced using mapping software.
Generally, Google Earth is the mapping software used over here, and so the database we are having is designed using the MySQL software. And more thing about to tell is advantage of automobile monitoring tracking system is it is of low cost and easy to design. It employs both monitoring as well as tracking. Within 40 seconds we will get the information of the intruder, and within 3 minutes we will get the picture of the intruder to the control center. it is not necessary that we can the repaired phones which is not working in a proper mode, the speaker repaired, we can employ that, we can incorporate that sort of mobile in this project. And the main drawback is depending upon the service provider, because the GSM service provider must transmit the message, or it has to send our pictures, and then availability of a base station. If suppose a car is parked where the GSM provider does not have a base station, though it is not a major drawback, but it is also included in the drawbacks. Thank you. Yeah, okay, please.
Series or ADF series.
It is easy to dump the programs.
Even the microcontroller 8051 also has that application.
Because it is easy of available and it is available.
The cost of the pick, it is 150 rupees. Optimal 88 inch 5AC is cost of 70 rupees. Which feature of pick is attracted towards this project? Which feature of pick attracted to buy the pick for this project? It has a variety of features. Some application may require some features like timers, ADC or something.
Yes, sir.
What is IR sensor and roller?
Magnetic sensor and IR sensor.
Magnetic sensor is like a mechanical sensor. So it is an electronic sensor. Only thing is IR sensor is an electronic sensor.
Depending upon the light intensity, change in the light intensity, we are controlling the person inside.
Why don't you avoid the intruder? Why you are chosen to capture the intruder? Why don't you stop the ignition process?
We can
return automatically the keys. The car starts. If not, the car won't start. So they are now avoiding the keys. Some car manufacturers are designing the car for operating through mobiles. So when the code is given, automatically the car initiation starts, the ignition process starts. So how can you say that this is more secure than these applications? Is this more secure or less secure? Yes. Then why choose some? Some features has to be added to improve the security. See, security is like a sea. It is a vast area. You can, if you are dumping to the sea, means you can able to see anywhere water. So likewise, the security is a kind of sea where you can, when you enter the security field, you get lot of thinking. So if the intruder comes here this way or that way, if anybody steals the hardware part of the car, what will be the process? Nowadays the car theft is reduced, but the manufacturers, whatever the engines and the spare parts are now, they are removing. So if they remove the engine, means that is equal to car. So the security may be on that part also. If anybody is removing the ATM machine, means there will be some alarm or something. So something, the security will go along like this. So your project should be like this. You must design a secure way and you must connect a appropriate theft reduction. Then you choose an RS-232. This is a very basic one. RS-232 communication. Do you know what is the encoding method used in RS-232? They can give a direct voltage to RS-232. Your processor gives only 0 and 5 voltage. 0 voltage and 5 voltage. But RS-232 cannot handle 0 and 5 voltage. It is encoded value. What is the value?
45. QTech room number 201 at 245 and Fun Events room number 302. Announcement: Gates Korogama 2:15 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Fun Event 2:30 p.m. to 2:50 p.m. Treasure Hunt QTech 4 p.m. to 4:20 p.m. For venue, please refer your agenda.